you never know where we may end up, but I know we're starting off with Tom Brady today. We have games that we're going to play. We have prizes that we're giving away. Showtime Mahomes Trivia. Mahomes stops by. We give back to you, Fox Sports Radio Nation, Dan Patrick Show. But we start off with TB12.
Trust me, we're going to get to virgins. We're going to get to your worst takes. We're going to talk about cruises. A lot of rando stuff today. But again, having a lot of fun. And thanks for the opportunity. It's for the Dan Patrick fill-in. But the more I see Tom Brady, which I mean, we've not new. The last 20 years of our lives have been saturated with TB12, from his Super Bowl rings to his workouts to...
The more I see him, the more he looks like handsome Squidward. Remember handsome Squidward?
Dude, we were at the Wynn in Vegas, and we sat down for a nice breakfast. It's like, do you want the Tom Brady green juice to start your morning? Like, he's everywhere.
Tom Brady, man.
But I just saw a meme, and that's how I consume my information. So take this with a grain of salt.
We get our information from memes and the back of cereal boxes.
Yeah.
It's true.
By the way, my kids, see, you said ADD, so you can only blame yourself. My kids pulled the biggest BS move of all time.
What those little nose pickers do now?
Grandma was in town, and she bought, like, the mega-size Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
And would you believe my little bitch-ass kids took all the marshmallows out of the huge box of cereal? Yeah. And the other night, let's just say I had, I was feeling like I had the munchies a little bit. I went to pour myself a bowl of cereal, and there was a big-ass box of Lucky Charms, no marshmallows.
No charms, huh?
No charms. Nothing lucky and no charms. But Tom Brady, he's been in our life for, 20-plus years?
Yeah, talk about lucky. This guy.
How did we get here? Oh, yeah, you said cereal boxes. Blame yourself. So I saw a meme.
Is he the luckiest, most blessed guy ever? Did he have all the Lucky Charms? Did he steal them all?
Is that who Pee Wee Herman was singing about in his HBO special? I'm the luckiest boy in the world.
Tom Brady might be the luckiest boy in the world. I think there's only one other guy that rivals him.
All right, well, let's talk about it, because I saw a meme, and it showed that he was on a yacht with Dakota Johnson and Kate Hudson.
This is the update, by the way.
And
every day there's some gross news about him, and he's linked with somebody hot.
I mean, then he was like hanging with Brooks Nader, who's a smoke show. Sofia Vergara was like, let's get dinner, Tommy. And then he's hanging out with Sydney Sweeney. Apparently, he was the party star at the Bezos wedding.
Excellent.
He's got the $300+ million contract as a commentator. He's part owner of Danny's Raiders. The only blemish on this guy's...
It's not a blemish. I'm here to correct that. But go ahead, because I know what you're going to say.
The only blemish on his resume, on his resume, is that he's twice divorced. But then again, he's a very active dad, so it doesn't even matter.
BS. I'm telling you. And I'll explain.
No one wants to go through two divorces.
The only blemish on his resume is 2 losses to the biggest goon in the NFL. And I say that respectfully, in Eli Manning. That's his biggest blemish. Divorces, that takes 2 to tango or something like that.
Yeah,
you can't even blame it on him. We had what's his ex's name? Bobby Moynihan. What's her name?
It's Bobby Moynihan, I believe. Yeah, you're right.
What is it, Spot?
Is it?
You really not know?
Michelle or Bridget Moynihan?
Bridget. Bridget.
Yeah.
So we had his ex on our show. I'm joking.
Samsonite, you were close.
And she sang his praises. You know, I really want to bring this up in defense to Tommy Boy here, because that's what his family calls him, Tommy.
Tommy.
Little Tommy. Because we're his pal. We're here to honor the guy.
Not to mention the relationship he has with his mom. Did you see his post on Instagram yesterday?
How about when he talks about his hero, his father, his daddy? He's the greatest. He's humble, but we had Bridget Moynihan on our show, his ex and baby mama. And she sang his praises. I know relationships are always up and down, and depending on the day you talk to my ex, I could be the worst guy ever, or I'm okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I remember her saying nothing but great things about him, and it was what it was.
You think she was going to give her honest opinion in a
media
interview?
Yeah, but dude, she was saying all these nice things about Tom, what a great daddy is and
everything.
everything.
Let me open up to Covino.
But the point is,
guy who left her when she was pregnant.
Don't question
for
my
Giselle
Barbara Walters
interviewing
abilities.
The guy who left her
you
when
think
she was
feeding
pregnant
me a line of BS
for a supermodel, for a Victoria's Secret supermodel.
So what?
Yeah.
I think Spot's here to bring you back to reality. Bro.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think that's a blemish at all because relationships fail all
Tommy-
the time.
oh,
You mean,
Tommy?
I don't know, what, 60% of relationships?
You mean the guy who hates his family but loves football more?
You're out of your mind.
The guy who said, I don't care about
I
you.
see where this is
The
going.
guy who
Not
said,
everybody. You know, Spot speaks on behalf of all the Tom Brady haters. When I hear stuff like this, all I hear is hate, envy, jealousy.
Tommy,
The guy-
you play one more year, but after that you retire.
Hey, dude, relationships are
And
sticky,
did
and he
he?
probably at that point of his life said, you know what? This is going nowhere, and I'm going to do what I have to do anyway because I'll look back and regret it, and I know this is on a fast track to nowhere.
It's time for me to take the front seat, Tommy.
You know, so yeah, that's going to be his criticism, but relationships are sticky for most people, and he's not most people. So life is even more difficult for that guy.
All right, so we've laid out the 7 Super Bowls. We've laid out
But people are always going to bring up his two failed
all right,
relationships
well, I mean,
and
that's-
everything else.
That's where you and I don't disagree.
That's not a
100%.
blemish. Dude, I've been in a failed relationship. That's a knock and tarnish on me as a person.
I would say if
I
you
did everything I
No,
could
I'm
in that
saying
relationship.
if you laid out your tail of the tape, even though you're a great dad, that wouldn't be considered like in the plus column, like he's divorced.
It's not a positive, but you can't put it all on the guy, I don't know, that was winning Super Bowls and providing for his family. You know, that's not all on Tommy Boy.
I agree, but you know what? I'm giving him the 7 Super Bowls, the broadcasting contract, life of the party. Every woman on earth wants to apparently be near this guy.
Dude,
The
his kids want to
TB12
kiss him. Your kids don't even want to kiss you when they're little.
The TB12 workout itself is inspiring because the guy's looking better at close to 50 than most people do when they're 35. So I'm here to tell you that I think Tom Brady is the most aspirational guy there is. I just think it's wild that you can't admit that his one blemish is that he's twice divorced, dude. Twice divorced?
No.
We've had the conversation. that
Tom
if
Brady
some-
has
Remember?
more opportunities, more temptations than everybody listening combined.
Fair.
He's the most eligible bachelor probably on this planet. And you're going to tell me his 2 failed relationships, he should be ashamed? You got Jabroni Jones listening who can't keep a relationship together, and he's not Tom Brady.
Was he
dare-
Ross from Friends?
How dare you?
No, I'm saying you have every
How dare
average
you insult
schmo.
Jabroni Jones?
you got, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's especially in today's world, this guy has more opportunity than everybody listening combined. And you're going to be like, yeah, but he has 2 failed relationships. Dude, if that was anyone else in his situation, you would have been in 12 dozen failed relationships because you wouldn't be able to keep it in your pants.
Listen, I can't disagree with everything you're saying, but
But the failures speak to personal character, in my opinion.
I mean,
Says you?
it is.
Who are you, the beacon of awesome?
It is
Yeah.
too. It is
Get
too-
out of here.
All right,
You sound like the slob that criticizes like pageant models. Like, yeah, you know, she could really lose some weight in her ass. And then you see the slob and he's wearing a beer helmet. You're criticizing Tom Brady. Give me a break. He would laugh at you.
What I wanted to point out.
I hope so.
What I
love it.
What I wanted to point out was that while we talk about Tom Brady being possibly the most aspirational guy, I bring this up A because you're seeing the memes everywhere, and B, not that the guy has more time to do anything because he's already the most busy dude, hanging with supermodels on yachts, calling games, running a football team.
Dude, in 1 week, he's linked with Sweeney and Vergara. That's awesome.
and Kate Hudson, Dakota Johnson, Brooks Nader, and yeah, I know.
They're all fawning over
So
the guy.
anyway, what I was going to say was a lot of times based on what we do for a living. I've hosted and emceed a lot of events, on the side for like corporate gigs, car companies, media companies where I'll come in, I'll MC an event for a quarterly meeting or their annual sales conference. And a lot of times these big companies, you know what they do? They spend $1 million to bring in Lenny Kravitz to sing, and they'll have a motivational speaker, right? That's the thing, like an artist and a motivational speaker. And so many times, you know who the motivational speaker is? It's like a woman that climbed Mount Everest or a guy that overcame something terrible.
What's his name? Ryan what's his name? Weidenmayer?
Eric.
Eric
The guy who climbed Mount Everest, but he's gay. I mean, blind.
The
that
blind
famous
guy?
clip? No. Yeah, a guy
Eric
like him.
Weidenhamer.
A guy like him.
Weidenmayer.
A guy like him. And honestly, I was at a big event I emceed an event with Volvo like a year ago, and they had a woman that was like the first woman to hit a certain point of Mount Everest. And because they want someone to speak to their company that's like accomplished something amazing. I think Tom Brady should be the highest ticket speaker on planet Earth
Who
right now.
says he's not?
What did you say in the meeting before the show?
They should do Tom Talks.
Tom
Where he
Talks.
just motivates schlubs to be awesome.
I mean, Tom Brady, if there's anyone that should be able to go around the country and be like, hey, listen, I've overcome losing to Eli Manning. I've overcome 2 relationships that didn't go the way I wanted them to. I've gone through the ups and downs. I look at how I stay in shape. I've reinvented myself. I think Tom Brady.
How about how his jawline improved over time?
And
these are not easy things to do.
By the way, behind him could be a photo of his combine picture.
Yeah. I used
This
to
is
look like-
how I started.
Exactly. This was me.
So if you think we're hanging from the huevos of Tom Brady, you're a little bit right here.
I'd say they're absolutely on point.
Whoa. But the more you look at Tom Brady, like the people that want to hate him,
I'm swinging from him.
the way people want to hate him is funny because he really is something unbelievable. And he talks about one of his missteps, and I think it made him even more likable and personal. He
They're
said
not missteps. Aren't we human?
No.
I mean, who's besides Kurt Hennig? Is there anyone else that's perfect?
I'm not saying I or you or anyone hasn't made mistakes. I'm saying he's admitted that doing the roast was a mistake because it hurt his kids' feelings and stuff. But
Yeah, he loved it. He
but
just didn't
but
want
even the
upset his
roast,
kids.
the fans and comedians, everyone's like, yeah, Tom's awesome. Like, he even came out of that. Like, man, what a good sport, huh? Tom Brady and Bill Belichick was there. And it just, I'm just saying, this first segment of the Dan Patrick Show today, if it appears like we're hanging from Tom Brady, we are, because the more you see what we witnessed, like, remember I said when all said and done, we're going to look back and be like, man, we were such jerks to LeBron. He was like, overall, other than we're going to win 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, other than the Miami misstep, LeBron James has done nothing wrong to anybody.
Yeah, we're the show that welcomes and praises the GOATs. That's why we had Joey Chestnut on yesterday. That's why we praised Tom Brady today.
And that's why you love Jim Brewer, Goat Boy.
Yeah, and I love Goat Boy, and I love you guys for hearing us out. I want to make this clear, too. Again, I'm Covino. That is Rich. In for Dan Patrick. This was more of Rich's topic of discussion, I guess, because he was doing like, man, who's cooler than Brady? But when we lay it out and people are quick to bash him, I'm going to defend him because you don't know what it's like to be Tom Brady.
None of us do.
None of us do. And if we were put in that position or that situation, how would we behave when it came to other women and temptations and life under the spotlight? That guy has very few missteps, and he is aspirational. So I'm always saying that to make it clear, like, I'm coming out defending him, but that wasn't even my point here. I just knew that a lot of people would probably be quick to say those things.
Your thoughts at 877-99 on Fox. You could say, man, you guys stop swinging from TB12. I'm just looking at it this way. I'm a dad. Nothing I care more about than my kids. And I see that Tom Brady, it just seems...
want, a cookie?
Tom Brady just seems like the type of guy that is just, really an involved, loving dad. He seems like a guy that somehow finds a way to make it all work. And I think what made me go over the top on this one was that picture of him on the yacht.
Yeah, he's on a yacht with the hottest women in the world.
No, but he looked ripped. And I'm like, God, I hate this guy. Like,
he's still ripped.
He's
in
almost
his
50,
mid-40s.
and he was tan and ripped. And Danny G's right. Look at his combine photo. He was pale and puffy. Now, like 25 years later,
if you're pale and puffy, you could still someday be ripped,
and tan.
like handsome Squidward, and tan with hot women on a yacht, like Tom Brady. And really, the premise of this conversation was the headline of he's on a boat hanging out with Sofia Vergara and Sydney Sweeney. It's like, who's cooler than him this week? And Rich said in our pre-show meeting, believe it or not, we do have a meeting before our show. I know it's hard to believe.
It's usually just to have a cup of coffee and like make fun of each other, but we do.
Rich said, is he the most aspirational guy? And is he like the only guy you wish you could be? And that's a really, really bold question, especially for a guy with an ego like mine, because my quick, immediate answer is like, no, I never want to be anybody but me. But if I could switch places with somebody, but like Tom Brady is one of those dudes that I don't know who wouldn't trade places with that guy.
I think the answer
I think there's one other guy that comes to mind for me personally.
I think the answer is the right answer if you're a confident, grown-ass man. I don't want to trade places with anyone.
Yeah,
the question
that's what most
the
people would
question
say.
is if you were forced and it was like, listen, for a while you're gonna have to switch lives with someone, and you're forced because I don't want to switch lives with anyone.
That's what I said.
I know, but I'm saying if you had, if gun to your head, you had to. I think Tom Brady's the only guy where it's like, man, that would be it would be pretty cool to see what life as Tom Brady would be.
I would say the only guy for me, and it's an obvious one that even comes close to this level of awesome.
I have one reason why you gotta totally dismiss it.
I don't think so. Is the captain, Derek Jeter.
You care way too much about your hair every day. You'd be if you were
I
Derek
would
Jeter for
trade
one
places.
day, you'd go to
Wow,
Turkey.
I thought you were
going to
say Ace on Love Island.
No, Ace is cool, even though he's 5'5" and he says he's 5'10". Derek Jeter, even though he looks like a grown Caillou nowadays, with his baldo Ronaldo. Dude, that guy's blueprint to success is undeniable. We call it an ass resume, right?
Yeah.
His ass resume is also undeniable. It's up there. His winning is up there with Tom Brady. Like he did it in New York, the greatest place, my favorite team, shortstop of the Yankees. There's so many reasons as to why I think he may be the only guy for me, but I'm not a Patriots fan. I wouldn't even say I'm a Tom Brady fan. I'm just a fan of greatness. I'm being real about it. If you're confident in who you are, you could give props where they're due. Tom Brady, there is none cooler. And we didn't even know this side of Tommy until he retired or until he went to Tampa Bay. Because what a personable guy he's become. Got to give him props. Is he the most aspirational guy?